Alright, so I got my saw swung back around here. I just drop a square up against the fence. Square the blade up. And now we're going to cut this, we're going to put this side back. Get all the junk out of here. Swap it over this way just to make it easy. All right, that'll square that up with that side right there. Since I'm only cutting aluminum here, I can speed my saw back up. Speed my saw back up so I'm not taking forever to cut this aluminum. Alright, so much for that cut. So we now have 2 of our 3 cuts made. It's starting to look like a finished product. So now we only have 1 more left. Lost my brush, and that's this cut right here. I'm going to cut this edge here. Move my support back. This is when our little nice jaw comes in handy. Line that up. Alrighty, there we go. There we go, back to the bench. Ooh, all right, YouTube, there she blows. There's our, still a little hot from that bandsaw cut. There's our drill jig. There's our angle face with our 2 bushings. Here's the bottom side. And I mentioned earlier I had a little design change. And after looking over the Kreg webpage and looking over some of their jigs, I realized that my distance here from the end, from my hole to the end of the workpiece, might not be big enough, long enough for the size fastener that I have. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill and tap a hole in here in the middle and put a bolt in here that I can use as a spacer to space out away from the work, because this may not be enough. Their jigs have these adjustable risers, I guess you could say, that allow you to vary that distance based on the size of the fastener and the size of the piece of wood you're using. And I noticed that it's a lot longer than what I have here. So I'm gonna make that change right after the next few couple steps. There you go. 1100, we said it's 1100 RPM, 3.1 inches a minute. And really nice surface finish there. So the first face we did came out great. I was didn't know how it was going to react with this mixed media here. And by the feel of it, I think intercepting that steel blew out the tip on that insert. I probably should have known better, but I'll just clean this up a little bit with a smooth file just to clean it up, and it'll work fine for this purpose. So we're gonna go ahead and drill and tap right here for our spacer bolt. Hey YouTube, Jake Kilroy back at you for the third and final installment on the Monster pocket drill jig. So we got the jig basically done for all practical purposes. And I'm sitting here and I've gone ahead and made my first test cut. Got a 19th 32nds brad point bit there. And I went ahead, let me reposition the camera so you can see this a little better. Okay, I went ahead and I just had this little scrap couple of pieces of 2x4 that I screwed together to kind of mimic a good use case. I clamped the jig in place. I took my drill 1932nds bit. Make sure you get it started in there good, and then I drilled the hole. And I kind of had to play with it a little bit because I didn't know what the depth needed to be. And when I finally got it to depth, which is where it is now, where I want it, I got it to depth right here. I took a Sharpie, and then I just marked the 2 flutes of the drill with that depth. I know the commercial jigs come with a stop that you put on the drill, and you just you put the stop on and you set it with a set screw, but honestly, this works pretty darn well. Because of the size of the hole and the amount of wood being pulled out, I did have to back out a few times in order to evacuate the chips out, and we might, if I was building this for a sure enough production application, I would cut this back down and then I would slot the tops of the jigs so that the chips would have a shortcut on the way out, which is similar to what's done with the Kreg jigs. But let's go ahead and take this off here and show you what the finished product looks like. That's the hole, which is just about perfect. I have a full diameter here, full diameter inside the board, right below the board, and I'm pointing down at 18 degrees. One of the things that I realized is the reason the Kreg is adjustable in depth this way doesn't have anything to do with the fastener length or size. It's that as your workpiece gets thicker, you want your fastener to come out in the middle of the workpiece, so you have to lessen your chance of splitting, so you have to move it back. So what I'm going to try to do now is I'm going to get my impact driver and one of those lag bolts and run it through here and see if it splits this piece of wood, or if we need to add an adjustment feature and see where it comes out, or if we need to add an adjustment feature to keep that from happening. So let me get set up for that. All right, so here we are. I got this clamped so that I can swing it off the tabletop here, so that the screw doesn't dead into my tabletop. I've got a nut driver here in the impact, and there is no pre-drill here. We have not pilot drilled this hole, so this is kind of a first shot. Can we get away with not using a pilot hole, and can we put this fastener in without splitting the end of this 2x4? Let's find out. Well, I can tell you one thing. I'm going to need a deep socket. All right, I want to get a deep socket set up here. Give me a little more room. That split that wood pretty good. Of course, I didn't have it lined up with the hole. I pulled down this side. I think pilot drilling is going to be necessary in order to get this fastener through there successfully. I also think I'm gonna have to drill this pocket a little deeper in order to fully recess the fastener. And let's see about where it came out on the other side. Well, it pretty much hit a screw, hit one of these screws and turned, so I have no idea where it came out. But let's tell you what we're going to do this time. I'm going to go ahead and put the jig back on here. I'm going to take this screw out, put the jig back on. I'm going to drill this other side deeper than this side, and then we're going to pilot drill it, just kind of manually pilot drill it. And actually, let's just make it easy on ourselves. Let's just do it this way. All right. Get another clamp. All right, got another clamp. All right, we're clamped in place. All right, we are set up here now. We're clamped in. We're going to drill this side. We're going to go deeper than this original line we did last time. So get it started in the jig. So that's how deep we went last time. Let's see what the difference is. So we went about almost another 3/8 of an inch. Let's see what the resulting hole looks like. Retrieve the air hose. All right, yeah, it's definitely recessed. So now what I'm going to do is get a smaller drill, and we're going to go ahead and try to just kind of manually pilot drill this to try to do it as good as we can, and then run a fastener in there and see how it goes. All right, got us a nice long drill bit there. And I just want to pilot drill through the 2x4, not through this, not through this board, just through this board. Let's see how we did here. All right, we're gonna give it another go. Got my impact here. Going to get the screw down in the pilot hole much better. Oop. Left my socket in there. All right, that actually pulled in really nice. And came out nice and straight. There you go. You can see the fastener head down in there. And then you can see where it came out back here. So it crossed all the way across. It's getting really serious bite in this 2x4 here. So this would definitely be a real strong joint. Some people mentioned that it might be overkill. You know, when it comes to things like second-story handrails and your children, I'm not going to try to get it out of there. Just leave that where it is. All right, so pilot drilling is a necessity. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to build a bushing to drop into this hole. After we've drilled the initial hole, we'll drill a bushing that we can drop in here and then pilot drill, so that the pilot drill will go straight and will be lined up on axis with the bore here. So let's get set up to do that. Okay, YouTube, bushing for the pilot drill. So we're going to again simulate the whole process here. We're going to start with the big hole. Right. Oops. I hit something, so I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go ahead and just test out our... I have all these fasteners stuck up in here. So we'll test out our pilot hole jig. Works pretty darn good. All right, YouTube, there we go. We have a functioning pocket drill jig, minus a little cleanup and some serious deburring, just to keep it from slicing me up. We have the ability to pocket drill and pilot drill for these 4-inch fasteners. So the next time you see this will probably be in a Shop ADHD, where I might show some shots of the finished work on the handrails in question that need to be strengthened up. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the workflow and why we did it the way we did it. Link to all the drawings, to the Dropbox with all the drawings, is down below. So feel free to pilfer and use this idea as much as you want. Also, I provided a link to some videos, or a specific video by a young lady named April Wilkerson, who does these woodchuck videos. Not really, you know, our thing, but if you want to see a lot more about Kreg jigs, about pocket drilling, about pocket fastening, and somebody that knows a lot about it, you can check out her channel. The link is in the information on this video and the others. And be safe in the shop, and I'll be back with you soon.